Have you ever said yes while screaming no inside? Those are the moments when you abandon yourself to protect someone else. Say no, not to people but to your boundaries being crossed. Because some people don't want an answer, they want your submission. Every yes is a test. Every no is a line in the sand. You'll be surprised when you learn the truth. What do we really know? People who can say no are often those who don't actually want to say yes, but they're afraid of rejection, exclusion, not being loved. Because from childhood, we're taught that saying no is selfish, rude, or shameful. But saying no isn't about building a wall, it's about leaving a door to show what you allow and where you set your limits. Because boundaries are the immune system of the soul. Think of it like this. Imagine a country with no borders. What would happen? Anyone could enter, take anything, and no one would ask. Your soul has borders too, and every time you say yes, you open another door. One day, you wake up and feel like a guest in your own home. Because those you never said no to have settled inside. Imagine feeling like a stranger lives inside you. Sounds strange, right? But that's the reality for many. Saying no often feels like declaring war, but in truth, it's a peace treaty with yourself. Every no says, I exist too, and that's much healthier than passive-aggressive silence. A person who sets boundaries is a person who leads their life. Psychology says, people who ignore their own needs end up living someone else's life, and then wonder, why am I so tired? You're tired because you're carrying loads that aren't yours. You're tired because every unspoken no becomes a yes that eats away at you. On a subconscious level, not saying no is a safety strategy. To be accepted, to belong, to avoid being left out. But the greatest loneliness is shouting no in your head while saying yes out loud. So don't say no to people. Say no to your inability to say no. Say no for the sake of your boundaries. If you're saying okay to everything in a relationship, soon you won't be able to sustain yourself, let alone the relationship. If you take on every extra task at work to be seen as a good employee, you'll burn out, not the job. If you agree to everything your partner says just to avoid conflict, you'll start erasing your own desires. In family, if you constantly obey your parents' expectations, it becomes hard to build your own adult life. In friendships, if you always go along with plans that exhaust you, you'll quietly build resentment. We often believe that fulfilling others' expectations makes us more valuable, but real worth lies in protecting your own limits. This video isn't telling you to say no to everything. It's reminding you to know when to say yes and when to say no. Saying yes is meaningful when it comes from the heart and doesn't drain you. Saying no means taking a stand against what consumes you, pushes your limits, or disturbs your peace. Yes connects, but no protects your identity. Be bold where you should say yes, but stay loyal to yourself where you should say no. Saying no is a learned skill, and that skill doesn't make you guilty, it makes you free. Because freedom isn't just doing what you want, it's also not doing what you don't want. Anyone can say yes, but only strong people can say no. And that no can be a turning point. When you say no to someone, you're actually saying two things. I have a world too, and I'm not fighting you, I'm making peace with myself. That peace won't be visible on the outside, but it calms the storms inside. And that inner silence is the greatest peace. The more you say no, the stronger you become. At first it's hard because people aren't used to your limits. Some might be offended, others might get angry. But in time, only those who truly love you will stay. The rest will leave, and they should. Because someone who doesn't accept your boundaries never fully accepts you, and some of them may return later. Clinical psychologists say that people who struggle to set boundaries often experience anxiety, burnout, and depression because they're constantly living someone else's life. They suppress their own desires and needs, and they slowly become strangers to themselves. That's why saying no not only defines boundaries, it defines identity. When you say no, don't carry guilt, carry clarity. Remember, saying no can be a promise to yourself. It means, I won't neglect myself. Because neglecting yourself helps no one, and every no is just as valuable as a yes, sometimes even more. People who protect their boundaries form deeper bonds. Because even their no is sincere, a relationship based on forced yeses is insecure from the start. But an honest no can be the beginning of real closeness, That's why no is sometimes a bridge, sometimes a mirror. Now ask yourself, what do I really want? That question is where no begins. Because if you don't know what you want, you can't know what to reject. Clarity brings resolve. Resolve brings peace. Send this video to someone tired of always saying yes. To someone who can't hear their own no. So they can remember themselves. And you. When was the last time you said no, just to protect your peace? Tell us in the comments. In the next video, we'll talk about why you must be honest with yourself first. Because when you lie to yourself, you show a false version of you to the world. Knowledge is power. Subscribe, follow, and keep the power in your hands. What do we know?